So a friend of mine invited me to go to a Native American sweat lodge. Has anybody here done a Native American sweat lodge before? People have. One of the things, and they do them differently in different things. I had done one as a child in Alaska where there was actually quite a lot of light and people just sat around a fire and it was lovely and that sort of thing. But this one was a little bit different. It was meant to sort of put together like a type of a womb. So you went in there completely nude, one thing, and it was pitch black. You could not see a thing except for maybe some vague embers of the coals. I remember as you're in there and you're so hot you can barely breathe, right? And it's meant to feel sort of oppressive. It's meant to sort of make you feel your body and to go deeply into it. I remember as I'm sitting there in the darkness going, what am I doing here? What is going on here? I realized that there was this kind of freedom in the darkness. Sometimes it seems like when there's light is shown on us, we have to put on a face for others to see, those masks of perfection, where I've got it all together. But in the dark, that's where we can admit our faults. We can embrace all of who we are. The parts that we might be embarrassed about, secretly proud of maybe, ashamed of, fearful of. And in the darkness, I could see a side of myself that no one else could, and one little known by anyone else. And that's part of the gift of darkness, to see yourselves fully. It's the grief, the fear, the anger, criticism. But there's also hope, love, acceptance, kindness, generosity. In this place of darkness, we can be all of who we are without judgment or fear. I learned that way, that the way to get through all of the darkness around me in that sweat lodge, and not just the difficulty of being in darkness and all the heat, but to get through all those shadow places in my heart, all my fears, it was to embrace that darkness, to love it, to listen to what it had to teach me. And that is not something that's easy at all to do. Because embracing the darkness doesn't mean you give up the grief, the sadness, the anger. It means you don't let it rule you. Instead, it means that you love yourself through that grief, anger, and sadness. It means giving up the criticism, the judgment, self-hate, and instead to love all of who you are. The darkness holds that safe place for us to do just that. So this morning, I want to invite you to close your eyes and to go into the darkness. To ask yourself, what gift does the darkness hold for you? So join me in taking a few deep breaths. What gift does the darkness hold for you? Let us hold this as Sparks sings.
By David White is titled Sweet Darkness. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes to recognize your own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your home tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all the other worlds except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. This poem speaks about a gift of darkness, and I invite you to take just a minute and consider what is too small for you. As I read through this poem one more time, I invite you to consider what brings you alive. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes to recognize your own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your home tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all the other worlds except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes the darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn that anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you.
So the winter solstice, it teaches us to embrace the darkness, but it also reminds us that the darkness will retreat and the sun does return. There comes a time when the Spirit of life calls to us and we to it. The darkness is not a place to stay. And so in comes that light. And that light can feel kind of harsh after the comfort of the darkness. That place where you can be all of who you are. To come back into that light doesn't mean that you have to go back into hiding again. We no longer get to be anonymous. We might have to face life in a new way, and that in itself can be terrifying. And yet the world keeps turning and the light always returns. But if the darkness has done its job, if done its work of healing, the dawn of a new time of life can give you the strength to transform, to see the world differently now. Perhaps you are wiser, maybe you're sadder, but often you approach it with more joy, the desire to embrace that light. And that is when we embrace the light of day. When I read this poem, I invite you to remember what it's like to embrace the light when you've come out of that darkness. Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who make the morning and spread it over the fields and into the faces of the tulips and the nodding morning glories and into the windows of even the miserable and crotchety. Best preacher that ever was, dear star, that just happens to be where you are in the universe to keep us from ever darkness, to ease us with the warm touching, to hold us in that great hand of light. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Watch now how I start the day in happiness and kindness. I invite you to consider this morning while our choir sings, what transformation awaits you this year? Each of us are going to go through these times of winter and spring and we switch over. Wherever you are right now in your life, I invite you to consider how might you greet the sun, that light when it comes back into your life. Take a moment to consider those times when you have greeted the day. Have you thanked the sun recently for all that it gives you, its light, its warmth, its gifts to the world? Let us end this time together with these words. I am the light that bursts through the darkness and the smile on the young child's face. I am the warmth that melts the winter chill and the sparks that dance in the fireplace. I am the smell of oranges and apples and the scent of cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove. I am the holly, the ivy, the mistletoe ball, and the jocularity of the great god Jove. I am found in the twinkling of an aged eye and in the hope of children everywhere. Yes, joy and love and warmth am I. Where kindness abounds, I too am there. I am your brother, your father, the wise one, and I warm you gently in the light of my love. I lighten your worries, bring good health and speed growth by shedding my rays down on you from above. But remember, my children, be grateful for my brother the darkness and the winter's deep chill, for without them there would be little reason for this holiday season of peace and goodwill.
Please stand as you're comfortable. We're going to sing more